Everybody, let's have a big round of applause for this event of Maharashtra TPO Association.
So they say people from Pune are very warm, but the climate remains very cold. So thank you very much for Maharashtra TPO Association. I've never seen such a structured and well-organized TPO forum across the country because we work with a lot with academia. It's been a great pleasure. So and thank you very much for inviting me to start doing the first talk. So thank you very much for the whole team. Very supportive from the beginning. Right? So my name is Shitalkumar. I come from Bangalore. I represent this organization called Emertxe. Again, there's a quite challenge to pronounce our name. People will say, Emertxe, how to pronounce it, right? So the way we pronounce it, the word Emertxe. If you want to remember it easily, you just say, take the word extreme, make it right to left or a palindrome, you get this word, right? So that's what this name is all about, right? So what I'm going to talk here, today's talk, right? So I'm going to talk about this particular topic called core jobs, right? So typically, if you look at predominantly the TPO fraternity when I talk to, and the jobs that are coming out, right? It's more focused on the IT sector, right? Which is the largest consumption and largest employment provider. But having said that, there is a tremendous opportunity for all of us to create value by creating jobs in the core sector, primarily targeting in electronics, embedded, IoT, right? And forthcoming things like electric vehicle, robotic, etc. Right? So what are we going to do about this, right? And some of the market trends that are there, and what are the opportunities that we have as a community, and what is the opportunity for doing the skill building, and that's what going to be the top. Right? So sir has given me 15 plus 3 minutes, 18 minutes. After that the bullet will come to say. So let me start going. So let me introduce our organization. We are an EdTech company. We are based out of Bangalore. We have been in this field for about 18 years. We all come from the embedded background. We've been there about 14, 15 years, worked with various organizations. Then we saw the passion for skilling, the passion for education. So that's what forced us to start this organization. At an organization as we are trying to solve two problems. One is to make the engineers employable, which I'm sure that's very much the theme in which we are here for. Second thing, what we are incrementally seeing is that there is an aspirational mismatch for people whom even somebody is getting into a job. For example, somebody studies an electronics and telecommunication and he goes and takes up a sales and marketing job, right? Even though he gets a first job, but his aspiration is not meeting. So we take them, put them through an upskilling program, change the profile, and help them to get into these domains. So our focus remains on 3 areas: embedded systems, IoT, and full stack web development. So that's what we do. So let us talk about these job trends and opportunities. So pandemic has changed a lot of things. I'm selling the inaugural address, right? It's glad to see so many of us physically, right? So this pandemic has also changed a lot of things when it comes to this industry and how things are being developed over the years, right? So let me talk about 5 trends, and then we'll talk about the opportunities of how do we work together and collaborate, right? So first of all, let us define what is a core. Right? Because there's a lot of definitions people interpret in their own ways. So let me put it in a very simple way to understand. So any smart system today we use the word smart, right? Smart mic, smart projector, or smart AC, anything is smart today. So we can divide it into 2 areas. One is there is always a piece of hardware comes into picture. Then of course the software comes into picture. Right? Again, subsequently, if we divide it further, the software, what you call as an application software, which fits in a piece of hardware, which you call as an IT, could be mobile app, web app, cloud application, anything it could be. And the important part we often ignore is the glue that puts together hardware and the application. Even though it sounds technical, I come from a technical background, pardon me for putting up this slide, I try to make it as simple as possible. Right? On the other hand, if you look at you have the VLSI design and the chip design type of responsibilities coming to picture, right? So our focus today is going to be on this, right? Which is often ignored, or we don't realize it's there, but we don't realize it often. Right? So that's what we mean by core. Again, core with respect to mechanical, core with respect to civil matters. So this is what we mean as core. Our today's discussion is all about. Right? So, and it is empowering already. Any domain that we think of today, be it retail, environment, industry, smart city. For example, the recent thing all of us can relate to is the way how the our automotive is changing. Be it a traditional existing petrol diesel vehicles, all of us have heard. For example, some of us need to wait for a year to get their car delivered because there's not electronics parts available. And all of us would agree the kind of revolution that electric vehicle is going to bring in. Right? Already it's bringing in. Right? Even though there is a accident, fire, those type of things keep coming up. Right? We are sure that that's where the future is going to be. Right? So it is touching pretty much, and this core intelligence software is the center to empower all the solutions possible today. Okay? So why this is a big deal? Why are we talking about all of a sudden, right? Then what is the top 5 reasons according to us, right? We've been in this particular tech space for a while now. And what do we observe, right, in terms of the reasons, top 5 reasons why there are so many opportunities for the student community, so many opportunities for the TPO and the departments, and also providers like us and tech players like us, right? Okay. So the first and foremost reason or a change that we are seeing today is that topmost product development organizations, who are in the semiconductor, aeronautics, embedded, electric vehicle, robotics, whatever I mentioned, they're looking to hire beyond NITs and IITs. Right? I myself graduated from NIT 20 years back. Right? When you look back today, these type of organizations, what you tend to see in the screen, are no longer attractive for a student from an IIT because they are more want to move into the startup space. As you know, Indian startup space is bustling, and areas like, for example, Twitter or any other Zomato or Paytm is where people want to go and work. So which has opened up a huge void where even these organizations who used to be seen as a premium recruiters are not able to hire their required manpower through the IITs. Right? So they need to explore alternative channels. And if they ask almost all the TPOs sitting here, right? Pretty much if you look at the recruiters profile today, 80 to 85%, I don't know, maybe 5-10% here and there, right? Almost 80 to 85% of the recruiter list that you have would consist of IT service companies. Am I right? Yes, no? Yes, no? Yes. So all of us want to grow up in the value chain, right? And target some of these organizations. But there's an opportunity that is opening up here because earlier, these organizations were not considering anything beyond these top-notch institutes in India. Right? That's one major trend that we're seeing. And that is resulting in us being an edtech player. Right? If you look at these numbers that is there on the screen, this is the number of drives that we are doing for our trained engineers. If you look at 2022 alone, we are doing about 100 drives on an average per month, right? Which was phenomenal. Earlier we used to do about 25-30 pre-pandemic, right? The post-pandemic opportunity that is propelling is making us to get about 100 plus companies visiting us every month, right? And if you look at the salary range, definitely is a 1 or 2 notch above what the other companies are offering, because we go up to somewhere around 27.5, 30 lakhs type of LPA type of salary, and we are able to get that type of salaries for a student not from an IIT or an NIT. That's the point that we are trying to talk about here, right? People who are from pretty much students who have studied in your colleges. I'll show some of the data in the later point of this particular slide. So this is the opportunity we are up against, right? And in terms of our portfolio, it's continuing to grow. As I said, these are all the opportunities which is opening up, right? We are finding it hard to supply the requirement that is posted by these type of organizations, right? They're always, I would say, queued up to hire, right? And again, next session we'll talk about skill building. I'm just talking about opportunities that is there in front of all of us, right? So these are all working in various domains which I already mentioned. Again, this list keeps growing. We have about 1,200 plus organizations which are hiring, right? So second, that's the point I touched upon, right? It's an opportunity for all of us to grow by value, right? If you look at this, what you call as a hierarchical growth, right? A college grad or somebody is ready to get placed as a final year or pre-final year student. So where are they getting in? So they're getting into IT service companies. We are eternally thankful for all those organizations, because of which I started my career about 20 years back, right? So they're doing phenomenal, and they've been giving largest amount of employment to a good number of our engineers, right? But having said that, where is the opportunity for us to get into the core software, which we talked about, the embedded kind of a domain, or what is the opportunity to go further up in the value chain and focus on domains like VLSI, right? And here one important point for us to note here is, as we move from here to there, from services to products to VLSI hardware design, the value that an individual can derive, because they are associated with the product development activity, is very high, both for a student and for the college and definitely for the TPOs. But these organizations are not volume players. Like for example, if you go and ask Qualcomm or in NSB, their recruitment numbers will not be even in thousands, right? They may say 100 or 50, right? The numbers are less, but the value addition that it can do to the overall ecosystem is very high. Okay. So the question that we wanted to discuss here, and I'll also share what we have done in this particular space, is about how are we going to do the transition. And just to give a numbers, there are about 6,80,000 jobs in that particular core software alone. Somebody spoke about NASSCOM, I picked it up from those one of the reports, right? Is the overall thing. And today, if you ask me, some of the organizations which I mentioned, there are about 6,000 jobs, right? And I'm talking about those high-end jobs. Right? So how are we going to tackle this? Whereas there's a huge question mark sitting in all of us, saying that how, as an organization, we are going to transition from an IT services into a core software or product development type of activities, right? So that's what we are just going to discuss, right? Again, further, I'll come back to the slide and talk about it, and also share what we have done so far in that area, right? And second trend we are seeing, remote working is normal, even though we are resumed after pandemic. So this is also one of the reasons why companies in the West are more comfortable to get their job done from India. So the more work is coming in these areas, right? And new age domains, right? So if you look at embedded systems, IoT, electronics, right, they were all separated earlier. Right? Now if you look at anything that we can think of, it is already powered by electronics, right? For example, electric vehicles, especially if you're talking about a two-wheeler space, every traditional manufacturer, I think Pune is famous for manufacturing, right? Outskirts of Pune, a lot of manufacturing companies are there. Today, if you look at any major Indian player, be it Tata, be it Mahindra, be it TVS, or be it Honda, right? Or Hero, right? Honda's right? So everybody need to transition from their traditional petrol diesel based engine to an electric vehicle, right? And that is driving a lot of opportunities. We don't need to only hail about Elon Musk and he's making a Tesla, right? There is a lot of things that's happening in the two-wheeler space, right? Which is requiring a lot of things. And if you look at the second circle, which is again a lot of gaga going around saying that machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? Even though we studied that the statistical mathematics in our engineering, right? So everybody thinks you can do a great Excel is become a machine learning engineer. That's not the case, right? But the point I'm trying to drive here is that even to run a machine learning model, you require a lot of data. Today, these type of vehicles or any kind of device is what going to generate major amount of data. So any new job that we're talking about is going to have electronics as a part of it, right? And of course, automation, digitalization are part of the world, right? Which is going to drive more. So that's a third reason. And of course, you guys know this better than me in terms of the skill shortage, right? These are 2024 numbers. India has become a country where first we become engineers, then think what to do about it, right? Okay. So 31 lakhs engineers, it's 2024 numbers. Skill India has published that. We work with them in multiple assignments, right? So 31 lakhs engineering graduates are graduating every year, right, by 2024. 4 lakhs of them are getting to campus jobs, right? And 1 lakh go for higher studies, right? Probably this number would have changed due to pandemic, etc. So there's a huge 26 lakhs of engineers who are waiting to be skilled in these areas. It's a tremendous opportunity there. And last but not the least, right, India is becoming an electronics hub. Right? Post-pandemic, thanks to the geopolitical things that is happening and what we all think about when we use the word Wuhan and China, right? It's pretty much aware. So which means to say India is moving again further in the value chain. More amount of electronics investment coming in. You would have heard about semiconductor crisis where the chips are not getting produced at the rate in which it has been required, right? So there's a lot of investment, SOPs are given by the government, Indian semiconductor policy and things like that, right? So even though we have been doing more of an assembly type of thing, getting the semiconductor or the fab manufacturing, I guess the first one is going to come in Mysore, right? So that's going to drive a lot of jobs, right? So these are all the opportunities and trends that we are talking about, right? And as I mentioned, if we come back to the original topic which I wanted to talk is about how this value is going to, get increased, or how are you going to travel in this particular value addition journey, right? Moving from services to product, or or preparing our engineers to basically focus on these high-end jobs, right? How are you going to do this? So over the years, when you talk to placement officers or in the academia, what do they say, right? They say, please run an FTP in my college, right? Whenever we talk, right, do a faculty development program, or set up a COE, Center of Excellence, right? So can we integrate some of these courses into your curriculum, our curriculum? That's again a huge challenge, because we have your own semester. I don't know, half of the time, or more than half of the time goes in exams these days, right? I never wrote those many exams, right? So when you talk today, so many exams are there, it's hard to integrate. So another funny thing is, if at all we integrate such programs, how do we make the student pay, right? That's another challenge. And there is always a management mandate, to grow up in the value chain. They are all pushing us to do more. And this generation students, right? They want Uber, like just like a press a button, they get a Uber taxi. They want to press a button and get a 25 lakh job, right? So these are the challenges that we are going through. So what we have done, right, in this space to work, Sari is already showing a timeout situation. I'll just quickly run through what we have done to address this, right? So we wanted to utilize, and we also wanted to do what we do inside the colleges. That's why I want to talk in this particular forum, is that we introduce the internship program, and it's a live session. It's not a video where somebody is going to listen and just you go through certification. That's not the case. We launched this particular 4 weeks of internship program in embedded systems and IoT, 2 different programs focusing on those engineering graduates, right, 3rd years predominantly. And it's been well structured, multi-phase, where they'll have a project, working by the end of the internship, right? Of course, majority of them do the internship for the certificate's sake. We've gone beyond that, and you can just search for, in Google Emertxe internships, you'll see tons of videos for you, right? So I don't want to get into details how we do. The sir is already showing me the timeout signal. Let me quickly show you one, slide before I move on, right? These are the benefits that people are getting. An engineer getting prepared for the job, which I talked in the initial thing. Yeah. So let us look into the Maharashtra data. I think this must be interesting for all of you. So our team has been working in the back end, trying to reach out to colleges, trying to promote awareness. And again, as an edtech company, when I go and say I'm giving a free internship, right? In India, the free always comes with tax, right? They never believed us, or you put a hidden charge and all those things. And we've been struggling, and online has given this opportunity to do things at scale, right? There's a huge trust deficit initially, but in the last, I would say, 8 to 10 months, our team has done a very good job, and we are able to reach 189 colleges. That's an absolute number. Out of 372, again 372 may be wrong here, because you know that better, among the number of engineering colleges in Maharashtra. We already have the presence. Some of your students might have already done this internship program, right? And we continue to grow, we continue to expand this footprint. So that's the reason why we come here to share this particular output, and also amazing feedback. I just want to show a couple of them. From Maharashtra students, right? Now I want to make Rawandale sir happy by showing something from PCCOA and DY in Pune, right? Testimonies are pouring in from TPOs, from HODs, and from various skill building organizations, so which we continue to build, right? So, and not only that, this particular internship program we never imagined, right? About 25 plus countries, students have taken, some of them. So one of the, you can see this, that's the map. Some of the countries which you don't even heard in map, right? They just search for it, and then they take it up. Predominantly, the time zone works for Europe and Middle East and Africa. That's a larger thing, right? Okay. So last slide. Okay. So let us collaborate. That's what we are here for. So what do we do? My request to all the TPOs here. I'm available. Unfortunately, I came alone from Bangalore. There's a miscommunication. We could not put a stall. I'm available. So we want this particular message of this internship to be spread to your engineering colleges, so that we can derive value out of it. And we also hire people, right, for our team. We are about 75-member organization now. We want to hire some of your college grads by being a recruiter in your college, and in all these event sponsorship, webinars. We run a lot of programs. We are open to collaborate, right? So that's it. That's my coordinates. I'm here. I would like to meet up with as much TPOs and folks in this particular ecosystem. And we are based out of Bangalore. As I said yesterday, I reached here in MG Road. In case we are traveling to Bangalore, I just want to come and meet and say hi. You are most welcome. Okay. So what I felt in the end, right? if you look at irrespective of all the challenges that we have dealing with this generation of students, right, they all have the fire in them. They're all waiting for the right guidance and right mentoring so that, we ignite that fire and give, wings to their dreams, right. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It's been a pleasure. So looking forward for a great interaction for the rest of the day. I'll be around, right. Thank you very much.
We request all the sponsors to please